Folks, Chris Pagel versus Joel Berkeley. Doesn't get any better. Aaron Sander and Jack Kay in the mix as well. Jim Cowley, Neil Caldoulis. We're on our way for 20 laps. Chris Pagel leads it to the top corner for the first time. Joel Berkeley getting a little bit of a helping hand there from Jack Kay. Jack Kay right in the mix. Here comes Jeff Peacock. I don't know what he was trying to do, but straight into the back of Daniel Henshaw. Let's go back to the front of the field. It's Chris Pagel to the better of Joel Berkeley. Jack Kay would be the next one in there. Joel Berkeley's overdone it. Going into the pit, into the hairpin corner. Got to get himself back on the racetrack, which he does, but he's a long way from the front of the field. Chris Pagel. Aaron Sander works his way underneath Jack Kay. Jim Cowley is right in the mix too. Neil Caldoulis is there. Dan Henshaw. Sarah France not too far away as well. Down the back chute, and Chris Pagel has checked out. Aaron Sander. Jack Kay has gone into the pits, and we've got a little bit of a mess in the top corner. Take the majority of points again. Aaron Sander, Jim Cowley, Neil Caldoulis, Daniel Henshaw, Sarah France, Joel Berkeley. That's the way they head to the top corner and down the back straight away, and already Chris Pagel starting to put some distance between himself and Aaron Sander. Jim Cowley very quickly online as Neil Caldoulis gets offline, and Dan Henshaw moves up underneath to go into position number 4. Round the hairpin corner, Chris Pagel, Aaron Sander, Jim Cowley, Daniel Henshaw, as Joel Berkeley now works his way underneath Neil Caldoulis, who stays high on the racetrack, and that will encourage Sarah France to have a little go as well. But our race leader is in the zinc straight away. Fairly comfortable lead back to Aaron Sander. Jim Cowley's got his hands full as Sander hangs the tail a little bit on the top corner. Jim Cowley being attacked down on the inside by Daniel Henshaw. Joel Berkeley is in there as well. Sarah France not too far away, and Neil Caldoulis. Next one through will be Dan Cook, as Caldoulis has a little look under Sarah France into the top corner. Jim Cowley's the one in trouble on the top corner as Daniel Henshaw gets around him, and Joel Berkeley tries the big outside one, and it's Joel Berkeley who pulls off a miraculous effort to no avail as Jim Cowley and Daniel Henshaw come to grief in the canteen corner. Hopefully no damage to either car. Chris Pagel, Aaron Sander, Jim Cowley, Joel Berkeley, Sarah France go. We're racing to the outside of the Witch's Hat. Neil Caldoulis would be the next one, Steve Spence, and then Dennis Kay. We'll go to the front of the field where Joel Berkeley has worked his way underneath Jim Cowley. Sarah France not too far away. Neil Caldoulis would be the next one, then Steve Spence, as they put another lap down on the journey, heading in down the back straight away. Chris Pagel, Aaron Sander, Joel Berkeley. Berkeley closing in on Aaron Sander as they're in the hairpin corner. Jim Cowley gets a little bit of a bump as Sarah France has a look down the inside. Neil Caldoulis, Steve Spence, and the next one there will be Dennis Kay. Down the back straight away they go, and if anything, Chris Pagel keeping Aaron Sander at bay. Joel Berkeley right on his hammer. Bit of a gap back then to Jim Cowley in front of Sarah France, Neil Caldoulis. Joel Berkeley has a little look on the inside of Aaron Sander as they arrive at the hairpin once again. Chris Pagel, Aaron Sander, Joel Berkeley, Jim Cowley. Next one through is Sarah France to the better of Neil Caldoulis, Stephen Spence, and then it's Dennis Kay. Go back to our race leader. The action is for position number 2. Chris Pagel seems to be fairly comfortable. Here comes Joel Berkeley. He and Aaron Sander side by side to the top corner. Sander won't move over, but Berkeley says goodbye and goes into position number 2. So it's now Chris Pagel, Joel Berkeley, Aaron Sander. Back then to Jim Cowley, who gets a little nudge from Sarah Franz. Neil Caldoulis tucked in there. Ethan Carroll just moves out of the way, allowing everyone else to drive by, and then goes into the pit area as they go under the tower once again. 6 laps remaining for Chris Pagel. Joel Berkeley in a battle royal here with Aaron Sander, a long way back then to Jim Cowley, who's got his hands full with Sarah Franz. Sarah has a think of the outside. Neil Caldoulis is there. Jim Cowley trying to make the car just as wide as he can. Steve Spence would be the next one. And then Dennis Kay into the hairpin corner once again for Chris Pagel. Up the main straightaway he goes from Joel Berkeley. Back then to Aaron Sander, a big gap. Back to Jim Cowley, still in a battle royal with Sarah France, Neil Caldoulis, Steve Spence, Dennis Kay, Jeffrey Peacock as our race leader. Under the tower he goes once again. And down the back straightaway for Chris Pagel. He's got car 22, Charlotte Christensen in his sights. Chris Pagel. Joel Berkeley is slowly closing the gap. Whether or not he's got enough laps, we'll have to wait and see. Aaron Sander fairly comfortable in position number 3. Jim Cowley would be the next one to the better of Sarah Franz, Neil Caldoulis and Steve Spence. Our race leader will take the white flag. 1 to go for Chris Pagel. Pagel heads to the top. One in trouble is the 23 car of Jeffrey Peacock. He'll just motor around to complete the journey into the hairpin for the last time. And Chris Pagel, Joel Berkeley, Aaron Sander, Jim Cowley will probably hold on into position number 4. Sarah France has a last ditch effort. Back to Neil Caldoulis, Stephen Spence. We wait for Dennis Kay to complete the journey. As does Charlotte Christensen. Folks, put your hands together for him. He was point score leader leading into tonight's round 2. He's had a big night and a lot of points going towards that SSA Ian Botcher Race Parts Production Sedan Mountain King Series. Round 3, next race meeting. As he goes around, folks, put your hands together for him. One of the heroes of Corbet's group, Mother Mountain Speedway, Chris Pagel. Mod lights roll out for their feature final round of the Campbell's Truck and Bobcat Series. Been a great night of racing.